This is the second of a 5-part series where we are breaking down the model. Each of the 5 builds on one another, so if you haven't watched the first video about circumstances yet, definitely go back and watch that one first. All right, let's get into it. What is a thought? Well, simply put, a thought is a sentence in your mind. Thoughts can either be conscious, where you know about them, or subconscious, you aren't aware of them. They include the opinions, judgments, perspectives, and beliefs that we have about neutral circumstances. If we're taking a look at the model, thoughts would go right under circumstance. Some examples of thoughts are: it's cold outside, my kids are always complaining, I'm a disorganized person, I'm so busy. And this can be a hard truth to accept for a lot of us who are holding on so tightly to our thoughts and beliefs. This is especially true for ones that we've been repeating over and over again, collecting all this evidence to support it. And it can feel vulnerable and uncomfortable to hear that our thoughts aren't facts at all. We may find ourselves defending our thoughts like we have to protect them. Earlier, I mentioned that thoughts can be conscious or subconscious. Many of us aren't paying much attention to our thoughts. Once you start bringing awareness to them, you might not like what you find. You may want to change them, ignore them, or pretend that they're not there. And you might start to even judge yourself for the thoughts you have and want to change them right away. Instead, I would invite you to just let the thoughts be there. Observe them in the spirit of curiosity and fascination without judgment. For now, just think of your thoughts like clouds, appearing and disappearing, changing and moving across the sky, just existing like neutral circumstances. One thing I like to do when observing my thoughts is to say, right now, I'm having the thought blank, and that's okay. Or I might say, it's interesting that I'm having the thought blank right now. Another thing that you need to know about thoughts is they are not permanent. They can change. We don't have to keep any thoughts that aren't useful or beneficial to us. And to know if a thought is useful, we need to see what result it is creating in our life. And I'll explain this a little bit more as we go through this series. Once we have allowed our thought to be there, explored it with non-judgmental curiosity, then we can go about changing it if we want to. Thoughts are also the leading cause for everything else that follows in the model. They are the cause of our feelings, which then determine the actions we take in our lives. Any results we create can also be traced back to our thoughts. That is why it is so important to take ownership and responsibility for our thoughts so we can create the life that we want. You can think about thoughts as the paint an artist could choose from to paint on a canvas. The color and type of paint that we use will determine what the overall painting looks like. So now that you understand thoughts, I'll see you in the next video where we talk about feelings and how it relates to the thoughts you're thinking and also the actions we take. If you have any questions or major takeaways from this video, please leave them in the comments. And if you want to work with me to take this work further, just head over to katiereedcoaching.com to find out more.